privilege to introduce our moderator today, which is Milan Valentin. Milan is a true California native, born in Oakland, raised in San Francisco, and a graduate of San Jose State University with a major in a BA with communications. Communications. Right. Okay. Anyone who knows Milan knows that he's very, very involved and active in our community. He is a member of the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, 100 Black Men of Santa Clara County, or Santa Clara Valley. He is also a mentor for the Tiger Woods Foundation. He is the current executive director of the AACSA, African American Community Service Agency. Where's the air? So without any further ado, I present to you now, introducing to some and also just refreshing in the minds of others, Milan Valentin.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you got your hair done, clap your hands. I didn't get a haircut, so I can't clap for the next question. My name is Milan R. Valentin, and I am your executive director. I am over the African American Community Service Agency. My boss is sitting right here. He's the chair of the board, Mr. Bobby Gasper, so I will acknowledge him while he is here. And I'm an alumni of San Jose State University. Are there any black alumni in the room? Go Spartans, go Spartans. So we're going to quickly take care of some housekeeping rules. If you can put your cell phones on vibrate or mute in the church walk. If you have to take a call, you can go into the hallway. If you are looking for the bathrooms, they're down the hall, walk through the maze, and then they'll be towards the back. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our amazing panel. Panel, you ready? Aren't they black in all different wonderful shades? Black and beautiful and strong. If I mess up your name, forgive me and correct me. Rudolph Byers, Hair Care Distributor. Carrie Booker, Barbers Inc. Clythia Felix, The One Above. Carla Hudson, A New Season. Gwen Neal, Nefertiti Beauty Supply, Salon and Day Spa. Yolanda Lewis, New Growth System. Michael Sanders, The Barber. Bobby Gasper, iIndie Group. Donald Long, Double Edge Barbershop. And Vera White, Director of Viera Y, Director of Tabia Theater Ensemble and San Jose Multicultural Artists Guild. We work on multiple events. She knows me well. So I'm going to read you something out of Black Business Secrets, 500 Tips, Strategies, and Resources for the African American Entrepreneur by Dante Lee. If you don't have this amazing book, as an executive director, I get all of my cheat sheets out of it. But I'm going to read you something. Each panelist, when we get to your questions, you'll have a total of 5 minutes. I'll let you know if the question is for you. If we go over it, I'll let you know when we're coming close to making sure we stay on time. Because everybody knows you can't get time back, right? So we have to use every moment that we get today. Now put your right hand up. I promise I will make you, well, I will make you promise something. Promise to be open. I promise to be open.
I promise to be open.
I promise to share what I learned today. And I promise to let someone else know about other black businesses that are in Silicon Valley. All right, now panelists, keep your hands up. I promise to give as much information for free today. Thank you. They gotta make their money. All right. So in Dante Lee's book, he says that African Americans have always been successful entrepreneurs, whether or not we've profited from it or whether or not we've realized it. Think about it. Entrepreneurship is about combining your passion, your talents, to create value in the world. African Americans have been doing this for centuries, in business, in government, in schools, in churches, and in our communities across the globe. There are countless examples, from Garrett Morgan, who invented the traffic signal, to George Washington Carver, who invented my favorite peanut butter, to Nathaniel Alexander, who invented the folding chair. And of course, there's Madam C.J. Walker, who developed and marketed the most beautiful and successful line of beauty and hair care products of her time. She went on to be the first female millionaire of any color. We've all heard of her? So that lets us know that we have strong roots in becoming who we want to be. So we will start off with our first question, and this is going to go towards Michael Sanders and Yolanda Lewis. A number of black hair trends for 2015 include short hair, long hair, natural hair, locks, weaves, waves, fades, mohawks, and designer razor cuts. What other trends are you seeing in 2015? And the mic is on the, yes. Just turn it on and talk directly into the mic.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, talk directly into it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess those are the most trends, the fades, the mohawks. That's what everybody's getting. Of course, the designs of the hair and different things of that nature. We do a lot of multicultural hair now, more than just black haircuts. I think that's one of the things that is big now. You have Asians, you have Mexicans, and even Indians with the dots and everything. So we even get those. So I think because of the housing and the economy, we're starting to get more of those customers than we do the actual African Americans.
And do you see those customers getting the same type of hairstyle that African Americans traditionally get?
They're starting to. Yes. Yes, I think they're starting to. They're starting to most definitely get the fades and the different types of business cuts. So yeah, most definitely.
All right, Ms. Lewis?
I believe what we see happening is a push towards healthcare, taking care of the hair, because although we're speaking about all these other ethnicities, what we see is a trend. Black people by design, we are creators. We create new things. If you look at what's happening across the industry, you see us on YouTube, you see us all over the place. We are creators. We create things in this world, and other cultures take advantage of it. Thank you for that. And so what I see is a trend towards care of the hair, because right now we have a lot of people that are losing their hair, whether it be from age-related, from stress-related, from environmental factors, to our water. I don't know how many people are aware of the water that we have. Recently we had a scare in San Jose where we had an E. coli outbreak, and people don't understand how important the water that you're using to wash your hair and your skin is on the hair. So I see more people becoming more health conscious in the movement towards natural hair, especially for black women. We have scientific data that proves that we have fibroids and other problems that are specifically related to us putting relaxers on our hair, and it's time for us to wake up. And it's and I like having my hair in different ways, but I personally had to make that sacrifice because since the age of 12, I had been getting relaxer. And as of February of last year, I stopped. And I thought I was going to have to lose all my hair because it was a big transition. And so we need to look for more healthy products in order to support our clients' needs for keeping their hair, because you can't always put a wig or a weave on your head.
That was tweetable for all of you on social media. It's okay to tweet while you can do it. Okay, it is estimated that the market value of hair care products for black consumers is worth more than $774 million. It is predicted to be 2.5% over 2013 and 12% up since 2009. More and more consumers, women, are wearing natural styles versus relaxers and press and curls, as well as more men shaving their own heads and being bald. How does this affect your business economically and socially?
Is it still for us?
Yep.
For me, my company is New Growth Systems. So and what we do is we specialize in natural hair products to help people restore edges and hairlines. And so for us, it's a wonderful thing. I look at the barbers and I watch the videos and I see these men, including my husband, whose hairlines appear to be fading further and further, especially if you get your hair cut every week or every 2 weeks. And so we need to have some solutions for that. So what I see is opportunity. And so I have, in my past experience, worked a lot with corporate America, and they would always, when I would advocate for black businesses, they would say, well, a lot of the black businesses are in hair care, and they don't have opportunities. And I think we need to turn that around, because the people working at these companies, like the Yahoos and the Ciscos and the Googles, they have a lot of stress, and they lose a lot of hair. And so if you look at it from a scientific perspective, we as a people have a lot of secrets that people always come to. And when Mike talked about having other ethnicities coming, I watch the trends. You watch how people don't even know that rock and roll and country was black first. And then you see R&B and rap, and you see these other non-black people coming out, and people are getting upset. But that's what we do. We create, and they copy, and they emulate. So it's time for us to step up our game. And we allow them to take the money, because we're spending almost $1 trillion in hair care, and we are not represented. I was working at Nefertiti on yesterday, and someone came in and said, where can I get one of those hot combs like my grandmama used to put in the stove? And I said, we don't make them anymore, because now they're all made outside. They're not made by us anymore. We have to start making things again. And I think the trend that I see for everybody in this room, for me directly, because I have a business targeting it, but we need to come up with things that we used to do that we can sell to others. Because what I tell people is, don't create a business that's just targeting black people, because we buy from everybody, but everybody else doesn't always buy from us. But we can work together to create businesses and models that they want to buy from, like Mike said.
Okay. I remember other panelists, if you have additional feedback, you can chime in as well. That was great information. We need to start remaking things that we used to make.
When we look at trends, I just want to piggyback just a little here. My aunt owned 3 beauty colleges and several salons, and she just sent me an array of pictures. And you can see the trend, and the trend is that previously we were doing black hair. Now, I remember instructing at one of her schools, and there was 7, and this is on Broadway in Oakland, 7 black stylists, and everything else was Asian. And one of the things that the guy that was working for her explained to me is they buy things by the pallets. We buy things by the boxes or a couple of items. And irregardless to how they feel about one another, they will pool their funds in together and get a better price.
So with seeing more men go bald, or do you as barbers see, has anything changed for you financially?
Okay. What was that? Say it one more time.
So in the question, it states that with more and more consumers, women wearing hairstyles that are more natural, diverse, relaxers, and weaves, and for men who have gone bald, do you see a change in your revenue, your income?
I don't think it's affected by men going bald, because they still get shaves and do different things. So I think more of what affects our business is people moving away from San Jose. I think that affects it more than anything, because it used to be a strong black population, and now, and I'm sure you do business here, so it's less and less of us. So I think that hurts us more than the actual hair or people with, different types of relaxers or whatever. And but we regained it by, like what I told you before, other ethnicities coming in and doing different things, but it's not the same. It's not the same at all.
Okay.
And I can say something a
Yes.
little bit.
We do need to reinvent what we do. YouTube shows people how to do hair. It shows people how to do twists. So for the stylists, that has had, I believe, an impact on things. People go on YouTube, they learn how to do different various hairstyles. Then they'll look for their stylist to correct it. So there are things that we need to do to reinvent our art, because it is an art that hairstylists have. And I think there are things, and I have some ideas. There's product lines that we need to reinvent. We have a product that is really great for hair loss. It's a system. But there are things that we can do, and I think we are creative people, so I believe that we should kind of come together. This kind of networking is incredible because it brings us together as one, and we can share ideas.
Okay.
And for me, well, we lose out a lot because we forget about it in the retail sales. So we get a chance, opportunity, we run a twofold business, but we do more of the service business instead of the retail. So with the decline in service changes, the texture and everything changes, it's cutting down on the retail sales. So we got to start then now running out of store and doing more retail sales than service. And we're going to offset with the cost of it. You can make more money in retailing anyway than you can in service business.
There's a lot of good information that's put out. Like I said, also I would piggyback as to the services that we give. I know me as a barber, I'm located out there in Vallejo, California, so Vallejo is a very diverse city. So let alone we have a lot of clients that are thinning, and we have just all any race that come in there. But there's different services that you can also give as far as pampering your clients. I think that's one of the things that we have lost in the business, besides having somebody coming in and out of your chairs, is you have to pamper them. And with pampering them, you could men that are thinning, scalp manipulation, different services, like he said, as far as products, recommending different products, but really understanding the products that you're recommending is also key. So besides the retail and so forth like that, also says just pampering, and with the pampering comes other services with people that don't have hair.
Now, our question number 3, it says that in Santa Clara County, our African American community is a small percentage of about 2.6%. Many report biracial or other. In the skincare business, it's uttered that skin is skin. Is that the same as hair is hair? In the hair industry, meaning is as the same product good for mixed hair just as black hair. How does the cutting or style techniques and products differ, if any?
I can speak to the products. They absolutely make a difference. Even between, if you're black, I mean, in my own personal family, when I develop my product, I base it on my dad's hair, and his hair looks bone straight sometimes. My niece's hair is curly, and then I believe nappy hair is a lie, and I can prove it with the product. So I believe that products absolutely have to be tailored to the client. With the hair growth product, though, it absolutely is not tailored to the client, and I'll tell you why. I base the product on nutrient deficits in the body. And if you do research and you find that since 1936, our very own government has been reporting that 99% of all U.S. citizens are malnutrition. And they say madly so in those that cause severe disease. So when I built the products, I took a look at those. There's about 6 major nutrients that we need in our body in order for us to live. And if you look, most of those we don't even get them. Why? Because the soil has been over depleted. And if you look across the world, it's not just in the U.S., so we don't get it. Even if you eat 50 cabbages a day, you're not getting what your grandmama got because it's not in the soil anymore. And then people don't eat healthy anymore. They eat out, and I'm guilty of it myself. You eat processed food, and your body is saying, what are you doing? And so when you look up and you see your hairline fading, what did you do? What did you do to your hairline? So it's time, like this man said, take care of your hair. It's time for some TLC. And I'll use Nefertiti again because that's an experience of people. And black people, where do you go? They don't have anywhere to go. A lady told me, I've just moved here from LA, and where's all the black people? And they want to know where we are. And where do you go? There's so few of us here. They don't know where to go, and she's alone. So I think we do need to get back to pampering because they wanted someplace to hang out, and we want to look good. So if I can go to the beauty supply or the beauty salon, and I can have some fun and chop it up and look good when I leave, I'm willing to pay some money there because I want to be with my people.
Still, to me, we got to get away and stop saying black hair. To me now, see, we got to understand, we got to learn how to do textures of hair. Learn different textures and how to create and deal with textures of hair. That's the way we're gonna survive, because now all races are mixing now. And if you can't understand and do textures of hair, you're gonna be lost.
Not black hair, but textures of hair. That's a tweetable moment. All right, anyone else?
I agree with Rudolph, what he said, because we are a mix of people. We have become a multicultural, blended culture of people. So it is texture of hair. And really, you have to come up with product and recommend things that are diverse, basically.
Our panel is well informed, I must say. So we'll go on to the next questions, and this will be geared towards Rudolph Byers, Gwen Neal, and Bobby Gasper. Several successes of having your own business are independent, being your own boss, as well as creative freedom and personal satisfaction. Please tell us how many years you have been in business for yourself and what other successes are at the forefront of your businesses.
Okay, I have been here, I've been at Nefertiti for 20 years, thanks to wonderful people like yourself. Give yourself a hand. God bless all of you that are here because you've made it possible. You can't create a business, you can't stay in a business without the support of people. And thank God for the people here. Your faces, I don't see you as often as I would like, but you're the reason that I've been able to sustain for 20 years. And to God be the glory. First and foremost, the Lord has sustained me. But we've been there. We've been at 294 North Capitol for 20 years. And, you know, I've seen the trend. I've seen things change. I've seen the African American population leave the area. I've seen every ethnicity come to Nefertiti. Right now, I would say my business segment consists of African American, Hispanic, Latin, Asian, white, everyone. So it's not just a black thing, and we can't look at business as a black thing. Your clientele should not all be African American. It can't be. In order for you to sustain in this area, you have to be diverse. I often tell people that my family, I have a supportive family. I have 9 siblings, and they have helped me tremendously in opening and getting things together and finances. So that has been a great blessing too, because one man cannot do it alone. So all of that has gone into us being able to sustain. And also, I have, I think one of the questions, and I don't know, I don't want to go too quickly, but I think you have to plan. There's a lot in business that you don't expect happening, and things occur. So you have to have emergency cash, where you might have to have an emergency, where you have to expend funds. So it's good to plan, it's good to budget. Seasonal, you know when your slow time is going to occur. So you kind of plan for that. You kind of stockpile some money. Don't just spend the money. When things are booming, we have a tendency to not put money aside. But it is important to budget and put money aside, because you do have that seasonal kind of slowdown. So cash flow, it's not how much money you make, but cash flow, keeping the money flowing. So planning, praying, and budgeting has been the key for me.
And that's a good question, good answer. I've been in business for myself for 17 years with Byers Enterprise. Before then, I had the opportunity to work with Dudley Products and some more companies. And we always talking about the first self-made female in America. But I had the privilege and opportunity to work with the first successful millionaire black male in America, self-made, S.B. Fuller. If you read some of the books, you'll find him. He had started all the Johnsons and the products, Herb Grave and all of them. I had the opportunity to be with all those. Fortunately, he took me under their wings and taught me a lot of the business and everything. But his great being in business. This man, I saw him rise to the top, advisors to presidents and all that stuff. And that carried me a long ways, and being an opportunity to bring around people. But first, it's great for us to be on the panel, but I like to recognize all the people who've been in business for 20 years or more, what's in the audience.
Because a lot of them have been. Yeah.
Please, now, give them a hand. And they sustained for 20 years,
Yes.
and that's what's fantastic to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Can I say? Oh, can I just-
Absolutely, because it takes endurance to stand. Robin, Janice, you know, some of the people that I know that have been in this business for a long time, Ninja, you know, some of the people, Kim, you know, and Tony, Macon, you know, some of these people that have really made this business in this area strong in being a place where a lot of people have gone to get information about starting businesses. They have helped a lot of people. So, to you all as well.
Hi, my name is Bobby Gasper. I'm probably a little different than everybody on the panel. I have a software development company in which we build web portals. And we've been in business for the past 15 years. And if anyone knows about the IT arena, you'll know there's a very competitive environment, especially when someone walks in the door that looks like me, and the person on the other side is a white person. They don't give us the same benefit of the doubt. However, I think one of the key things that I've always done is the perseverance, because sometimes you cannot accept no as an answer. You cannot accept maybe as an answer. You have to be determined. You have to be self-fulfilling, but also you have to understand your situation. And I've done that over the past 15 years. I still say I'm doing well, but I'm still making it happen. Now, one of the questions on here is that what other successes are at the forefront of your business? Well, what we do is we work with a lot of organizations. For example, the African American Community Service Agency is one of our clients, and we also build a website for them. We build websites for other people who now are starting to recognize our work, our worth, and also referring people to us. So that's one of the things we have to do as well, is that we need to refer people to other business owners who can help sustain their business. Because a lot of times people don't realize we're the ones who's going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll give you a break in the cost. Whereas the white guy is like, no, this is how much you're going to cost, this is how much it's going to take, then you have to struggle to make that happen when you don't really have to. So the question I say to people is, don't always look at the person who's looking at you. Look at the fact that if I work with this guy, he's going to work with me. Let's build this business together. So that's what would be my point.
Give them a round of applause. Bobby, you did say discounts, right? I'm just plugging you in. All right, so we're going to move on because time is of essence. How to fight against redlining and gentrification. Housing and business racial discrimination has always existed. However, in 1934, the practice of redlining came by way of National Housing Act 1934. Redlining, also called mortgage discrimination, continues to exist today. As gentrification, the act of investors coming in and rebuilding so-called rundown neighborhoods, have forced populations of color out of their neighborhoods and businesses. Please tell us how these practices may have affected your business in Santa Clara County in the last decade. And this question is geared towards Clythia Felix.
Okay, I was the owner of a business in San Jose, and I was paying $6,100 a month as my lease payment. And at the end of my lease, there was a guy who walked into my building and explained to me that it was going to be $12,000 a month. And so everybody was asking me, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to trust God. And so he felt so comfortable. One of my clients and good friends, her son-in-law is the executive VP at Google. She was sitting on the other side. He said, first of all, Asians like to be next to each other because they create a certain synergy. Now, if you have the money, then you can stay. Otherwise, they have it and they'll be in here. So Carla Hudson and my son decided that we were going to do what we wanted to do in the first place, and that was find a building to purchase, so that no one would ever be able to do that to us again. So I experienced that firsthand.
Has anyone else experienced that? Yeah, give her a round of applause.
That's a great example, and it affects, people look at it from the housing perspective, and I just want to speak real quick from the housing perspective, because as an advocate, I've worked with this, and they come up with all these programs telling people that they're going to give mortgage assistance, and that they're going to reduce the principal on the mortgage, and then they don't do it. But what happens, what people don't see what's happening in the back door, is that once you get foreclosed on and you lose your home, then you have to go and find a place to live. Now, what they're doing in the apartments and what they're doing in some of the housing is they have criteria. And so they have companies, like one of them is called OnSite, and there are others, that they give these criteria to. So when you go to an apartment complex to apply, they don't tell you that the things that they look at. I'm gonna give you some examples. Some of the people that I've dealt with, they've been arrested, but the charges were dropped. Now, I don't know about you, but I was on call for jury duty, and the judge said, do you know anybody that's been arrested, been a victim of a crime or a witness? And so I said, that's a racist question, because I don't know anybody in San Jose that's black who doesn't know somebody, has a close friend who hasn't been arrested. That doesn't mean you committed a crime, because if you black, you get arrested just because you black. And so what they do is, if you have an arrest, there was this one man who had this happen to him. The paperwork said all charges were dropped, but because he had been arrested, it didn't have anything to do with the conviction, he was not allowed to live in that apartment. Now let me tell you the game they play. When you go to apply for those apartments, they'll tell you, oh yeah, you're qualified, because he went and said, listen, I've been arrested, I've never been convicted, I have never committed a crime, here's my money, here's my credit score, am I gonna apply? Because you know that's a hard hit on your credit the next time you get another one. And so what they do is, they get a commission if you do the application, but then they reject you. And then now you have a mark. And so I've seen the reports with my own 2 eyes. The redlining that they did now, they're doing it on another level. So you lose your place, and then they have a mark that says, oh, she filed for bankruptcy, oh, she was arrested. Whether or not I was convicted, you will not get that spot. So you need to be aware of what these people are doing behind closed doors, and you wonder why so many black people can't live in San Jose. This is one of the reasons why.
Right.
And that's just another reason why we need to make sure we know who our city leaders are, and make sure that we show up to city council when they're talking about housing, just to be heard. And if we're not heard, we must start grouping with other groups so that we are seen. If they see a row of black people at City Hall, trust me, something is going to happen, because we're rarely there. Just to encourage you to show up.
Tuesdays, first
Okay, so
Tuesday.
cleanliness and infection control. Barbers and stylists may see 5 to 10 clients daily during working hours. What practices are used to assure cleanliness of the tools used in barbering or styling, as many times the same clippers, combs, razors, curling irons, etc. are used?
You have various types of cleaning solution and sprays, disinfectant sprays that we use, and you use it after each customer. So, and with your combs, you have a solution that you put it in, and it takes care of all, germs, pesticides, everything that has to do with any type of germs of the hair. So, and it will, bacteria, and it kills everything instantly. And then you go ahead and wipe it off, and you can use it. If you drop it on the floor, it's the same thing, you dip it in, pick it back up, and clean it off. And that's how you take care of your tools for your clients.
Okay.
So do you want me to answer the second
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Vieira Y. So I'm not a stylist or a barber, but the reason I'm here today is I've been doing quite a bit of work with the 100 Black Women and in general in the community for the past 8 or 9 years on HIV and AIDS awareness and prevention and education. And so Virginia passed on to me an article about someone in Brazil contracting AIDS through manicurist tools. And I was surprised at it. We had a discussion, and looking at it, it is very rare for it to occur. HIV usually dies immediately on contact with oxygen. So it doesn't live long outside of the body or on tools, but we all have heard of the injections from needles and people contracting it. But that is within a short period of time, and they have blood-to-blood contact. So my concern with this, reading the article, is I do a lot of work in HIV. There is such a stigma around it. But the truth is, it is very difficult to contract. If you think about it, if it was easy, all the people that go to their manicurists and so forth, we would see it, would be more widespread than it is. So it's not, my concern is that people don't get panicked by this one occurrence that was done through a medical study, and they followed this person for years, and that's the only way they could track it back that she contracted. So the important thing, this also could be with tattoos. You need to bring your own equipment. And some stylists may have manicurists in their shops if they want to speak to that. Even barbers and using their equipment, but you of course wouldn't bring your own barbering tools, I guess, but as far as combs, when it comes to a manicurist, you want to bring your own equipment. And you want to use the solutions that will kill bacteria, and the little UV machines that look like the little ovens do not kill the bacteria. So you want to make sure the stylist is using the solution that will kill the bacteria. Even the wooden files and so forth, you want to bring your own. So as much as you can, to handle that, you want to make sure someone is licensed, that they are being cleaned. I want to make sure that I see them cleaned when I go to get my pedicure. I want to make them see them spray it in. So you want to do that, and that they are using the right sterilization. It also mentioned doing the research that you shouldn't have your cuticles cut if you're not sure, if you haven't brought your own equipment, because again, anything that's blood to blood. But understanding that it is very rare for someone to catch HIV, contract HIV. Now, Hep C and Hep B is probably more likely if it is going to occur. So the main thing is to understand the people that you are getting your services from, and to use your own equipment and follow up and make sure they're licensed and sterilizing.
Anyone else?
Also, I'll piggyback off what she said earlier. I think also too is, the Bible talks about treat other people like you want to be treated. I think with us being involved inside, beauty, barbering, and so forth, when it comes to our instruments, is taking care of them properly, sanitizing. I know when I took my state board test, all familiar with state board, you have to sanitize your hands every, procedure and so forth. And I also say you have to take that back inside, your establishment. Every client that that you're, servicing is sanitizing your products or a solution they're learning about. Like I said, again, your products and things that you're using to actually kill those germs. But I also say too, just even with this being said right now, this is good information for all of us to share about what we need to do and what we need to use to clean our instruments properly.
Thank you. So now we are aware. You show up on Friday to get your hair done. It's okay to say, I love you, but are those? I went to this nice event and they taught me something. Because we have to educate ourselves in our community, right? When you go into the barbershop and it's 5 heads, I'm trying to get out as fast as possible, but in my brain I'm not thinking about my safety and what could affect me. So education and knowing is keeping the barber safe, to keep their license as well as our lives. So that was great information. Thank you. Now on to social media and how you can grow your business. Now more than ever, social media is vital to business by means of communication, engagement, and growth. From Facebook to Twitter, Instagram, and the blogs are many networks that are utilized, if utilized properly, can boost both clients, relations, finances, support and sustainability of your businesses. Please share with us how social media has evolved from the days of telephone and email communications to the most active networks used today in your business. How has social media shaped your business, and what growth are you expecting in using these networks?
Well, I know this is probably one of my favorite topics because I'm a social media child, 80s child. But I'd say for myself, I've only been in business for 2 years. With opening up my business and coming up under other establishments that are located out in Vallejo. I've learned so much about investing my time to social media. As you know, today, a lot of us, we're around and this is what everybody's doing left and right all day. There's no more communication, no more face-to-face. A lot of people are into social media, and what it's done for me is it's given me an opportunity to not only reach out to the people in my community, but also just across the globe. I give just an example, like with Instagram, if a lot of you all are familiar with Instagram. Instagram is a tool that you use to post pictures and so forth like that, something similar to Facebook. And what I've done with Instagram is there's creative ways as far as what they call hashtags. If you don't know what hashtags are, just short words that are put in categories. People use those same categories. And so what happens is somebody comes to San Jose, a newcomer comes to San Jose, they're going to type in a hashtag and say San Jose Barbers. So that puts you right there in that category. So we're not only doing that, there's other ways as far as direct messaging. I direct message a lot of people, if it's from famous to pro football players and so forth. And God bless where some of those doors have opened up off of this direct messaging. I was able to cut certain people that are known and so forth like that. With social media, it's provided a way for me to not only grow my business when the doors are open, but when they're closed. And also just being known. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. I know we make, you know, when we go back to the older days when I was brought up going to the barbershop. I used to go to Richard's barbershop in Vallejo. So it was a known barbershop. You could go in there and get service and go about your way. But now social media has made it a way where it gives it a platform where you're able to meet people before meeting them. You know, people don't have the time sometimes to go and come to your shop and see your price list. Now they can just do it on the pop of a button within seconds. They see your work, book an appointment, and they go about their way. So it's very convenient. But like I said, it's just something you have to try different ways. We're in a trending era now where a lot of people are doing different things, and social media has just opened that window of that opportunity to really just off of pushing the button, get to know who that person is. So I advise everybody to do social media. It's worked for me.
Okay.
So I'd just like to chime in here, back on the conversation about the business. So I run a nonprofit business. I'm the artistic director of To Be African American Theater Ensemble, and we will be celebrating 30 years this summer. So I think we are one of the longest running businesses, nonprofit, in the San Jose community. There aren't too many others, especially arts groups, trying to do that I can think of. But I just want to piggyback on what he said, being an old timer, which I can't believe, that isn't familiar and didn't grow up with social media and is not using it enough, that it definitely is the way of the current. And I had my flyers in the car and forgot to bring them in, and who does flyers anymore, right? But in getting the word out, so, and we have been around for 30 years and people still go, who? To be people in San Jose, right? So I just want to emphasize the importance of that, is using Facebook and Instagram and people really knowing who we are and the great work we do, but it's the best kept secret. So, I mean, we really need to get on board, and it's easier than you think, but it's the resistance, as some of the people my age and above have. And I work in IT, the tech business, so it's really sad. But anyway, it's definitely the way to go, and moving us forward, that progression we could do in a week on through the internet and social media, what we've been trying to do for years. So
I used to spend a fortune on advertising. Now social media, thanks to that young lady back there. We're on Facebook, Nefertiti Beauty Supply Salon and Day Spa. She posts all our pictures on Phyllis, Tina. She posts the pictures of her work, and it's a great means for getting the word out there. We do Twitter, Instagram. I'm not an expert, as you said, but she does that. It gets out there, and you don't have to spend a fortune on advertising, because that used to take a lot of my budget. So thank God it's free now. So it's one of the means to use.
And Michael Cheers is going to say something about social media.
Milan, just real quick, and I know that I'm breaking protocol. Dave Diggs, who is probably one of the creative innovators on top of the social media game. Dave couldn't be here today because, he's doing a barber battle or something down in Long Beach. I've watched this guy, increase his business tenfold. Folks, in making the documentary, I get a chance to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and I look at Dave's appointment calendar. Every day, every hour, 6 to 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, he has to take a break to pick up his son and all that. But his social media savvy is off the chain. Gwen is right about the advertising budget stuff. And the old heads here, you don't have to necessarily learn it. I teach it. We have a social media research arm in the School of Journalism here. I'll be glad to share some of that information with you. But that gentleman over there with that camera, Randy, stand up for a minute. You all need to get his contact details. He does all of Dave Diggs and the other barbers. He does all of their social media stuff. Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Put up those 17-second videos. He knows all of this stuff. And so, you don't have to, go out, to Barnes & Noble and buy Social Media 101 for Dummies. Randy, you guys this is about networking, right? He's one of my students. He's a junior here, lives right downtown, an amazing young man with putting together social media content and getting it out there. And so this is all part of a networking program. And so after the program, and we'll still have some time for reception, please, tap into Randy, get his card and so forth. He can really, really help your business. I mean, Dave Diggs has invested $10,000, $15,000, if not more, just in equipment and the monitors and the software and the external drives and all that. But he's made that money back 5 or 6 times already, just based on his social media outreach. Randy Vasquez, y'all give me a hand.
I just want to share a few words about the social media because I do believe being in technology, I think it's a great tool, but I think it also has a lot of downfalls. But one thing I would tell you is, first of all, do not have your personal Facebook page linked to your business. Because what a lot of people tend to do, and what it does is that you have a lot of conversations on your page that other people should not see or hear about. You want to create a separate page for your social media content, Facebook, Twitter, and the other items. The other thing that I thought is valuable, and I thought he said it, is video. If you want to really start promoting your service and your business, put a little small clip of video on your social media website or your Facebook page, even on your own website, because people do not like to read, but they look at a video faster than anything else. And the last thing I want to say is that really the social media industry is really the best thing for communication because you can reach people afar. But if you have a product, if you have a service that you're going to be doing, or if you're doing a tour, that's the best way to get the word out because your friends will connect other people to your social media website. That's that connection that you keep building. So you want to use that as a promo tool. You want to use it, but don't let that be the replacement of that interaction between your customer base. Yes. I think there was someone said on the panel that human interaction, that one-on-one conversation, that laughter, that is the most important element of your business. But the social media is a way of marketing. It's a way of marketing your business, marketing your services, and marketing your products. So definitely take advantage of it, but don't let that be the replacement. Thanks.
Also, it is a tracking mechanism. I've been in business for several years now. I got a call from my insurance company maybe 2 months ago, informing me that they wanted to drop my insurance because of eyelashes. So So they had actually told me I had this beautiful website, but I needed to take it off because they were not going to insure for that. So be careful what you put out there because they are tracking you.
If you know what a hashtag is, put your hand up. Ooh, social media. Tag me in, please. I want them to know I'm working. Yes.
From an IT perspective though, when she said tracking, I thought she meant something different in the terms of analytics. I mean, what she said is true as far as it's out there and people may not see what you want, but when you have a website and so forth, you can get all of the, the hits to your website and lots of information that will tell you about your users, so it does provide that also, that you can gauge and do trend analysis and so forth. There's a lot of information you can get through having a website and all of that is built into it, so just be aware it can be very informative for you to kind of set what you should be selling and what people are looking at and what pages are getting the most hits and where people stay the longest. There's also kind of data analysis that's done through the tools.
Thank you. And make sure before you leave you get all of their social media information and friend each other throughout the whole year.
Not to mention Yelp, People use Yelp, so it's a good place to post pictures and various items.
And give great comment and feedback.
And some negative. I mean, there is some feedback that people aren't using Yelp because most of the people like to complain, so a lot of the things are negative, so people aren't trusting it as much as a resource.
All right. Back in the day, retirement age was 65. Pensions and gold watches. More and more we find ourselves working harder and longer, taking early retirement, changing careers, or even getting laid off. For over 20 years, Social Security has been threatened, and due to the significant number of baby boomers retiring and living longer, it is assumed that Social Security funds may be depleted by the year 2033. Can you discuss best practices investing in retirement at age 30, 40, and even 50? Well, she just pulled my coattail. We'll do the best that we can.
Okay, guys, I'm going to then read off what I have, and then there's a person's later. I do have something that you can fill out for the email address, and I can send you the content here. So the first thing I want to talk about is just goal setting. When you did your business plan, you put some goals in there. I want you to do the same thing for retirement. Think about, when am I going to retire? What age am I retiring? Am I going to stay in San Antonio County? Am I going to move closer to my parents? Just think about what does retirement look for you? Do you want to be able to travel once a year? Do you want to be able to travel every month? Think about what does it look for you. And when you do that, think about how then do I do my business? Because I have a budget for my business, as I'm sure you do. Then you have a budget for your household, correct? And then you have a budget, which I do, for my retirement. Because I want to know exactly how much money am I going to have or need for, a month when I retire. When there's no wage coming in, when I don't have a client that I'm doing their hair, where's that money going to come from? So I need to look at my budget for retirement. It says income's going to come from either portfolio files or passive income, or maybe like with Criteria or some of you others who have purchased your own building. You say, well, I'm not going to be on my feet anymore. I ain't doing it. But I'm going to rent this building out. I'm going to have other, clients in there. I'm going to have that passive income coming in. So take some time and talk with your spouse or even with your family, because sometimes our families, we build this clientele, and then when we quit and retire, where do they go? So look at, do I want to sell my clientele list? What do I want to do with it? That's money, You got good paying clients. But anyway, know your net worth. I mean, how many of you know what you are worth today? Even if it's a negative. Great, I have one. Know 2, 3. Know your net worth, because that's important. That will help you on this road. When we take a vacation, we map it out, right? Whether I'm driving to Florida or not, I'm going to map out where I'm going to stay, how much I'm going to spend at this hotel. If I can give my kids an envelope to say, this is what you've eaten today. So if you eat it all at breakfast, that's good. Lunch, dinner's on you. I don't know what you're going to eat. So they learn how to now budget for that. And And so that's what we do as far as retirement. Now in our 30s, I'm gonna read this off because I have 4 minutes left. Here we go. In your 30s, think about if you could put $5,000 away for the next 10 years. That's only $50,000. That's $5,000. That's $500, $450 a month, right? If you could do that, you would, in that time period, have $787,000. If you did it at the age of 40, same time period, you would go down to $364,000. But if you waited till you're 50 like me, you'd be at 168. You waited to 60. Like, you help me? Sorry. Oh, okay, 80. We're good friends.
I'll say security.
$83,000. You know, we can't count on Social Security yet. Now, I figure by the time that time comes, I will be getting my Social Security. My kids may not be, but I'm gonna get mine. But at 30, set up an auto savings. You decide again on your budget how much money you want to pay. When it comes out automatically, you don't even see it. You won't spend it. And I know it's hard because as petitions, you get cash. A lot of times people pay cash. But if you can, set up that credit card machine or debit machine, because then it automatically goes into your account. You don't touch that cash. And I know there's a fee, but it's tax deductible. And so try to set that up. At your 30s, try to build a monthly budget worth 3 months of living. So if you know your expenses are $5,000 a month, you need to build at least $15,000 worth of expenses, okay? And that's a budget for you. 10% of your weekly gross income should go to some type of retirement fund. And because, again, you're self-employed, look at some IRAs. There's a Roth IRA and a SEP IRA. And I can give you more information if you email me what those look like and the limits that they come with. So with those, you can be at high risk. And all you do is go online. I like Vanguard, but there's other Charles Schwab's, there's other management firms. But try to get something that's not a non-load one, that they don't charge you every time you use it. And so when you go on there, they're going to say what age group you're in. You say, I'm 30. So they may put you at a higher risk. You may get overseas, you may get different currency, kind of stocks. You may get stocks that are volatile, but they return a great deal for you. And then when you add, but if you keep it there as long term for the next 30 years, it usually will always give you a profit. Even though you may lose 1 month or 1 year or 2009 to 2011, but you'll gain it back because now in 2014 you're back. You can hardly where you lost it. Make a plan not to incur any more debt. And I know that's hard at 30 because you have children, and you're trying to come to college and you're doing football sports and basketball sports and all that comes with the thing. In fact, my grandchild was going on a field trip at, 3rd grade? And they want him to donate $17. I'm like, what happened? This is supposed to be public school. Talk to your children about scholarships and grants. My daughter, I had them do a binder. I said, what do you want to be? I don't know. Well, fine. Start collecting scholarships and grants because I'm not going to pay for your college. I need for you to contribute. For every dollar, I'll contribute. And so get them involved and let them know I'm trying to retire at this age, whatever age you are. And when you involve your family, there's no serious, because kids think, we rich. No, we're not. Who said we're rich? You may be bringing in $10,000 a month, but you may have expenses of $10,500. And so be careful about what we also buy at age 30. Buying all these clothes that have designer names on it. If they don't have my name on it, I'm not buying it. Or you know what I'm saying? Because now you're making someone else rich. I want us to think smarter about money, and wiser about that. If you are 30 and you have not purchased a home yet, think about that. Think about, can I afford a home? Try to make sure you get to someone that can give you a loan that's not one of those crazy ones, start off at this interest rate and then eventually go to this. But get a home that you can pay off in 30 years. Because that extra money, your savings of paying in 20 years, you can put towards your savings. And so I want you to think about that. Also sit down with your parents. Start talking to them about their long-term health care. Because I'm telling you, when they get older, sometimes if they don't have their stuff in order, you're taking care of them. And that's coming out of your pocket. So talk to them about long-term care, Medi-Cal, talk about living trust. Start planning for exiting your business. How many have an exit plan for their business? Design an exit plan. What does that look like? How am I going to leave it? You know, look at include a budget to reduce the line item for your children and giving and expenses. Back them out. And you know, and at 30 years old, you know, you have kids, again, all the expenses that come with kids. But by the time, I'm gonna say this, enjoy life, just, you know, just budget for it, okay? Just budget for it. People come to me and say, can you do my budget? Mrs. Carter, I'm scared to come to you because I heard you do budgets, and if you budget fun, you can have fun, you know? So just budget it. A lot of times when we, hush them.
She's a lovely trainer.
Okay, so then at 40, you can do all the above, but I want you to start paying off your debt. Start paying off your debt. Look at your bills. Again, if you stop incurring the debt, then it won't grow. And so now you can start paying it off. Start putting away 15% of your weekly gross balance savings in your IRA account. And then start building up at least 6 months worth of savings. Again, that's making $5,000 for expenses. You need to do that, and that's $30,000. So start putting that aside. Look at real estate and look at getting a loan at a 15 or 20 year now. Because now you're trying to get that mortgage payment off. You don't want to have a mortgage payment at 65. You know, you want to have it all, pay your taxes and insurance. Look at them even doing an investment property at that time. You know, you can do that also at 30, but usually at 40, do an investment, you let that renter go in there and you let that renter pay your mortgage for you. And you want to still, at that investment property, have a 30-year mortgage because that would be passive income coming into you. Again, you talk to your kids about their scholarship and grants. Look at budgeting, not only for your children, helping them get their budget together. Look at budgeting for your giving of your time. Because at 40, we really need to start concentrating on us and what we're going to do and how we're going to handle our business and how we're going to organize. Establish an audit. Check in. Check in with your family. Hey, this is our goals. Did we meet this goal this month? I do my budget. I do some people's budget once a week. I do some people once a month. Some people come to me once a quarter. But check in to see where you are, because if you messed up in March, so now you have April, May, and June to kind of correct yourself and get back on track. All right. Reassess your major purchases for retirement, because you know if you have an SUV down